You are watching the WD Broadcasting Network, your home for racing highlights, iRacing broadcast, commentary, and more. But here comes Jeremiah Woods. He wants to win in the Street Stock Showdown. He's hungry to get up to the front. If you are a fan of short track racing, the WD Broadcasting Network is your home for racing content in real life and on the sim. Follow the WD Broadcasting Network on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And don't forget to hit that red subscribe button on YouTube to never miss an upload. Top spot away, Terzak once again into the back bumper. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WD Broadcasting Network, and welcome back to the Trackmaster Sim Series for the season finale here at the Langley Speedway. 200 laps going to be the distance here tonight. We will have a halfway control caution at the lap 100 mark. So it will technically be two 100-lap feature events, but a 200-lap total distance where you will have to keep the same car clean throughout the entirety of the event. We have 17 cars on the property, it looks like, taking time. Currently, fastest is the 15 of Kyle Terzak, who is your current points leader by 32 points over Brandon Atkinson. Brandon Elvis currently sits third in the 54, who we see on screen, currently scored second in practice. Pretty close field all throughout. So far this season, Kyle Terzak has 3 victories, Brandon Atkinson has a victory, and Brandon Elvis has a victory. He was your winner last week after leading the final 25 laps of the race. Brandon Atkinson finished second. He's been doing very good, keeping a consistent run all season long. He's got 3 top 5 finishes and 5 starts. But Terzak just a tiny bit better. 4 top 5 finishes, 3 wins. And that is what gets him the 32-point advantage. Behind Brandon Atkinson, Adam Fulford. Brandon Elvis, and then Adam Fulford. 15 points back. And it looks like practice just about finished up. Chris Shepard in the 19 finishing up his practice laps. Wants to make sure that car is completely dialed in for qualifying. These drivers have 2 laps to complete their best qualifying lap. And Kyle Terzak going to finish qualifying, or practice I should say, on top of the board, only car in the 15 O's. We'll see what happens here in qualifying. First driver out onto the racetrack, the number 57 driver, currently 8th in the point standings. This is Alex Hallinar. He's got 2 top 5 finishes this season. Last week he finished in the 5th spot. The week before finished 4th. So this 57 has ran well the past couple weeks. We'll see if he can turn up the dial and get onto the podium as he comes around to the white flag. First lap time for Hallinar, a 15.285. And second lap time for Hallinar. Looks like we'll slow down on lap number 2. Brandon Elvis currently top of the board in the 54, a 15.158. That is the fastest lap so far. Bob Belshaw works lap number 2. Landon Farmer jumps up to the second spot. Kenneth Skidmore, how about that? 3 drivers tied for the top spot, all 15.158. I mean, I don't think you could have wrote the script that way. Let's see if Carter Hollingsworth or Kyle Terzak can knock either of these drivers off of the top spot. Terzak takes the green down through turns 1 and 2. And he's going to go for it on lap number 1 here. A lot of times we see drivers work lap 2, but Terzak, first lap time, 15.131, quick time for the number 15. And a little quicker, Carter Hollingsworth, 15.129, 2 1,000ths of a second. And that puts Carter Hollingsworth on pole. Still a few drivers left to qualify. Anthony Ankello in the 79, completing his second lap, although I think he's backed it down here on lap number 2. Couple cars left to go. Richard Parks in the 113 making his qualifying run. A little sideways through the first set of corners. Still a couple cars left to go. Zach Murphy in the 29 going to make his qualifying run. Driver out of Oakland, Maine, with Pullman Design on the side of that race car. We'll see what Murphy can do. Currently sitting in the 7th spot in the point standings. 1 top 5 finish so far. Looking for a better result tonight. Murphy, I don't think, got a lap there that first time around. We'll see if he can get a lap on the scoreboard second time. Checkered flag for Murphy. And he will go to the 7th spot just behind Adam Fulford in the 71. A 2.45 for Fulford, a 2.47 for Zach Murphy. And it looks like everybody has qualified. We're going to grab a word from our fast qualifier here tonight, Carter Hollingsworth. Carter, up in the broadcast booth, it's been a tough season so far for the 28 as the defending champion. What can you do here tonight in the season finale to try to pick up a victory in the 200-lapper?
Yeah, just got to get through the heat race, right? Terzak's going to be really hard to beat as he's leading points, and he actually helped me with the gear this week, so I want to give a big shout-out to him for helping me, and Brendan Elvis, Adam Fulford, Zach Murphy, all the boys at Coastal Performance for all the help this season. I've joined them for this league only to kind of, just have some fun. It's been really fun working with the guys. It's a lot of connection with the LTP Street Stock Showdown and the sprint cars and stuff. But yeah, just trying to get some good luck going. So far, it's pretty good. So hopefully we can win this heat and start pulling the A main.
For sure, it's going to be good. It's going to be crucial to have a good starting spot in the A main. I think we skipped the heat. You're going to have to wipe that plan out and reset for the A main. You've got to warm up here, so I'll let you get back to it. But really quick, what do you think the strategy is going to be? Do you push in that first 100-lap run knowing that you have a controlled caution, or is it kind of just ride and see what the car's feeling and then hit from there?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be 100%, but I definitely think it's going to be around 70, 75. I set my car up for the second stage, so it's probably going to be wrecking free here for the first 100. But once we get those tires and tighten the car up, it should be really good. So once again, I just got to thank all the guys at Coastal Performance for the setup help and for, we haven't been really testing much, but it's definitely shown our speed there. And Elvis got the win last week, obviously, but hopefully we can carry the momentum that we've been having recently. And yeah.
All right. Well, good luck to you here this evening, and thanks for talking to us. Hopefully we can talk to you later on.
Yep.
All right, folks, that was Carter Hollingsworth in the 28 machine, your fast qualifier here tonight. Waiting to see what the invert is going to be. We're going to jump over and see just real quick. And I believe the invert is a 9. So I don't know if Carter Hollingsworth is going to be very happy with that number right there. So the invert tonight going to be a 9. That will put... We'll see what the lineup will look like here. Get qualifying results up on screen for you guys. Qualifying in the 9th spot, Alex Hallinar. We've talked about him. Finished in the top 5 the past 2 races. He's going to bring this field to the green. He'll have Chris Shepard to his outside. Row number 2 is going to be Zach Murphy on the inside and Adam Fulford to his outside, starting in the 4th spot. Starting 5th, that's going to be Landon Farmer. To his outside will be Brandon Elvis in the 54. Starting in the 7th position will be Kenneth Skidmore alongside Kyle Turzak. And then in the 9th spot, Carter Hollingsworth in the 28, your fast qualifier. Going to roll off inside of row number 5. Warm-up session has concluded. I believe everybody is just about ready to roll for 200 laps at the Langley Speedway. I'm excited to get this one underway. We've got a lot of heavy hitters in the invert here. One of the biggest we have seen this season. Definitely going to throw a wrench into things. Remember, we are inverting the top 9, so Alex Hallinar going to bring this field to the green in the 57. He will start alongside the number 19 of Chris Shepard. Shepard looking for his first victory in the Trackmaster Sim Series. Zach Murphy going to start 3rd into the number 29. He is 7th in the point standings as they run. Adam Fulford going to start from the 4th spot. He currently sits 4th in the point standings, just 15 back from Brandon Elvis. In the 5th position, that's going to be the 026 of Landon Farmer. And to the 6th spot, to his outside, the Coastal Performance number 54, that is Brandon Elvis. Row number 4 on the inside, going to be Kenneth Skidmore in the number 4. To his outside, going to be the 15 of Kyle Turzak. We'll see what Turzak can do. Starting on the outside of row 4. Inside row 5, your fast qualifier is starting 9th here this evening. That is Carter Hollingsworth in the 28. And then the rest of the field going to be straight up from here on back. Tim Dayton in the 84. We're going to start from the 10th spot. Row 6 on the inside is Richard Parks in the 113. And to his outside, Bad Brad Carpenter in the 31. Inside row number 7 is Anthony Yankello in the 79. It looks like Bob Belshaw and William Sapala going to round out this field. 14 cars bringing us to the green. So the field making their way through turns 3 and 4. I believe they should be getting the 1 to go signal next time by. The Field tightens up, and we prepare for 200 laps to wrap up the season in the Trackmaster Sim Series. On the front row, it is Alex Hallinar and Chris Shepard going to bring this field to the start. Pace car is off, and the green flag is waving. For the final time this season, the Trackmaster Sim Series is green at Langley. Through turns 1 and 2, Alex Hallinar, Zach Murphy jump up to the first 2 positions. Chris Shepard in the 19 falls back to the 3rd spot. Landon Farmer in the 26 blinking on the inside lane, but he gets 3rd from Shepard. Now the 4 underneath the 19. Carter Hollingsworth, your fast qualifier, wasting no time cutting his way through the field, already up to the 5th spot. Executed that start perfectly, and now finds himself in the top 5 early. He knew that getting around your points leader, Kyle Terzak, was going to be a crucial part to the success of this race. Just 4 laps in, still a long way to go. But a couple tasks already out of the way for Carter Hollingsworth. Brandon Elvis in the 54. Able to get around Chris Shepard. Adam Fulford in the 71 back behind him. And now for the 4th spot, or 3rd spot rather, Kenneth Skidmore down underneath Landon Farmer. Farmer in the 26 gonna sneak back down to the bottom just in front of Carter Hollingsworth in the 28. Hollingsworth in the 28 has Kyle Terzak right on his back bumper. And now Terzak to the inside. I think Hollingsworth did not want to fight early on. Saw the run to the inside, and I think the 28 may have tagged the wall as well. So Hollingsworth back to the 6th spot. Move Kyle Terzak up inside the top 5. Bob Belshaw and Brad Carpenter trying to look to the inside of Richard Parks, but Parks staying strong on the top. Remember, these drivers do have a set of tires this week. You have a control caution at the lap 100 mark. It looks like Parks did not want anything to do with that battle right there. Going to tuck back into line and just try to click some laps off as Alex Hallinar has started to open up that gap. Battle for second starting to heat up. Zach Murphy currently holds the 2nd position, but right there running in 3rd is Kenneth Skidmore. Started in the 7th spot in this one. Already up onto the podium. Wants a little bit more as he's right behind Zach Murphy. We'll go on board. To the inside, down into turn number 1. Look at the cut and drive from the 4 machine. He's able to drive down to the bottom, and now Murphy going to fall back in line just behind. Is able to get clear down in front of Landon Farmer. And Alex Hallinar starting to open up that gap, 1.5 seconds to your race leader as they run. The 4 of Skidmore currently up to the 2nd spot. Tim Dayton in the 84, I think missed the starting grid. Was not able to start with the field, so he is actually 1 lap down. Fortunately, we'll get the lucky dog if a caution flag does fly before anybody goes a lap down. William Sapala and Brad Carpenter. The battle for the 12th spot on the racetrack. 31 of Carpenter goes up the track, and that allows Richard Parks to look to the inside. Carpenter shuts the door. He's sideways through 1 and 2. That car does not look like it's very happy at this current moment. The battle begins to heat up for the 3rd spot, as now here comes Kyle Terzak underneath Landon Farmer for the 4th position, just behind Zach Murphy. Farmer in the 26 on the outside lane, has to tuck back in line. "20 laps in, 180 laps remain here in the season finale." Kyle Terzak starting to work forward. He's right up on the back bumper of Zach Murphy now for the 3rd position. A look to the inside there. Where does Zach Murphy go? Looks like Tim Dayton going to give way to the 29, which allows Murphy to get a little bit of space. But Terzak right there on the back bumper, certainly going to try to make the move. Terzak drives down to the bottom, passes Murphy for the 3rd spot. Murphy gets back down in line. As one thing I've noticed, when that 29 does get past, he's able to get right back down and minimize the time lost. And in a 200-lap race, that's what you have to do. Just try to make every position count, or every second count, rather. Carter Hollingsworth, your fast qualifier, back to the 8th position. He said that car would be loose, and it looks to be a little free at this given moment. Very much fighting that race car early, but a long way to go, 200 laps. Alinar out front leads by 1.1 seconds. But the 4, Skidmore, closing in for the lap times last time by. Skidmore was the fastest car on the racetrack. He's definitely starting to close that gap. Kyle Terzak in the 15, just a little bit slower, but as you saw, just got around Murphy for the 3rd spot. Terzak has had to work his way up from quite a ways back. Lap 30 up on the board. So far, caution free. Skidmore continues to close that gap down to 0.7 of a second. Everybody back behind, slowly closing up. You can see Brandon Elvis in the 54 and Adam Fulford in the 71. Those two ran together quite a bit on Tuesday night in the Leave the Pack Street Stock Showdown. Now Elvis has to look to the inside of Landon Farmer. Farmer holds the final spot in the top 5. Farmer continues to hold that pit spot. But Elvis right there on the back bumper. Starting to put some pressure on. Terzak in the 15 has not closed the gap like I had expected to your top two, but Skidmore right now is closing that gap to your race leader, Alex Hallinar. 0.3 of a second at the stripe. Lap 40 going to be up on the board next time by. Brandon Elvis finally gets around Landon Farmer there, and Adam Fulford going to sneak by as well. Down the back straightaway, your top two begin to battle. Skidmore right there on the back bumper. 57 tries to close the door on the bottom. Keeps the bottom closed off. The 4 has been doing very well driving that car below the apron on the exit of turn number 2, but you can see the 57 trying to keep that car low on exit and not give the 4 an option to drive down there. These two battling is going to allow the rest of the field to close that gap, but 3.8 seconds back is Kyle Terzak. Before thought about looking to the inside that time. Hallinar shuts the door, but at a price. And caution flag is out. Just before Hallinar was about to lose the race lead, caution flag flies. The 84 of Tim Dayton goes around. And let's see how it happened there. Remember, he is 1 lap down. Carter Hollingsworth in the 28. Was up the racetrack, and I just don't know if the 84 saw him. There was contact on the exit. We'll see that one more time from a different view there. This is down into 3 and 4. Watch the 28 of Hollingsworth way up the track, and then comes back down to the middle. I just don't know if the 84 quite saw him. And Dayton goes for a spin. Caution flag is out. That was right as the 4 was trying to get around Alex Hallinar for the race lead. Couple cars down pit road. Carter Hollingsworth in the 28. Your pole sitter heads pit side. Potentially going to make an adjustment. Also probably going to check some of the damage from that contact. I'm sure there's not going to be much, but potentially making an adjustment to that car. Looked like he was struggling early on, or just trying to save the tires as best he could. And the field is back behind. Pace car doubled up with the lights off. We're ready to go back racing. Just shy of a quarter of the way into this one. 46 laps complete. Make it 47 as they cross the stripe, and we're back racing. Good launch from Hallinar in the 57, but here comes Skidmore to the outside down the back straightaway. The 4 machine out to the race lead. Down into turns 3 and 4, the 57 of Hallinar up the racetrack, but on the outside, give it to Kenneth Skidmore and the number 4. Now for the second spot, Alex Hallinar shuts the door on Kyle Terzak. Zach Murphy behind in the 4th position. Brandon Elvis rounds out your top 5. Further back, your fast qualifier, Carter Hollingsworth. Remember, he came to pit road, now trying to work his way back through this field. He's got Richard Parks to his inside. He's trying to be as patient as he can. William Sapala up 9 positions or 7 positions rather, from the start. Chris Shepard to the inside. Shepard dives underneath Landon Farmer. This is for the 8th spot on the racetrack. Back behind, Hollingsworth able to get by Bob Belshaw. Now Richard Park's going to move along as well. A lot of movement throughout this field. Up front, though, number 4, Skidmore holds the advantage over Alex Hallinar by 0.2 of a second. Down into 3 and 4. The top 2 broken away by about a second over Kyle Terzak. Alex Hallinar runs just on the back bumper of Kenneth Skidmore, not letting him get away. We got about 42 laps until the halfway break. Remember, that will be a controlled caution, so where you come into the pits is where you will come out of the pits. Chris Shepard in the 19 looks to the inside of William Sapala. This is for the 7th spot on the racetrack, the 48, trying to keep the door closed. Shepard strong in the 19 on the bottom. And here comes Landon Farmer to the inside. Farmer able to get around Chris Shepard. That is for the 8th spot. Out front, Skidmore continues to show the way, but caution flag is out. Bob Belshaw, Tim Dayton stopped in turns 3 and 4. Both drivers able to get it back rolling, but back under yellow for the 2nd time here tonight. Let's see how it happened. Richard Parks in the 113 on the outside. Belshaw down on the bottom, makes contact there. Brad Carpenter had to avoid, and unfortunately Tim Dayton, you saw Carpenter go high, Anthony Ankello goes low, and Tim Dayton shot the middle. Unfortunately made contact. Locked it up though, did a good job of worsening the impact, but still caution flag flies for the 2nd time here tonight at the Langley Speedway. We're going to take a quick step away on the WD Broadcasting Network. We'll be back in just one moment when we return to green flag racing action with the Trackmaster Sim Series. And looks like the field is back behind the iRacing.com pace car. We are getting ready to send them back green. Just under 70 laps in. Through the restart zone they go, and we are back underway. Good launch from the 57 of Alex Hallinar in the outside lane. But here comes Kyle Terzak to the inside for the second spot. Skidmore leads down the back straightaway. Terzak to second. Through turns 3 and 4. The 15 of Kyle Terzak up to the second position. Now for third, Brandon Elvis to the inside. Trying to take that spot away from Alex Hallinar. Still about 30 laps to go before the halfway break. Terzak putting pressure on the 4 of Kenneth Skidmore. Looks to the inside that time. Skidmore going to keep the door shut down into turn number 3. Able to use that outside lane to hold off the number 15 of Kyle Terzak. He shuts the door down into turn number 1. But the 15 able to drive up to the inside. Down into 3, a little nudge. Up the racetrack goes the number 4 of Skidmore. And now Kyle Terzak to the inside for the race lead. Skidmore way up the racetrack. Gonna try to cross over back down into turn number 3. Skidmore to second. Can he challenge back for the top spot? Brandon Elvis right there in the 54 runs third. We're about 27 laps until the halfway break. Skidmore right there on the back bumper of Kyle Terzak, not letting him get away for this race lead. Both of them want to be the leader at the halfway point. They know how important the inside lane is going to be on the restart, and more importantly, the control on the restart. You want to be the guy that picks when everybody fires. 15 of Terzak starting to look a little bit loose as we get further into this run. The 4 of Skidmore not letting him get away. He's right there on the back bumper. He now looks underneath through turns 1 and 2. I think Terzak does a good job defending that inside line, but now right up to the back bumper. Skidmore trying every move he can. And as this pressure builds up, Brandon Elvis works closer and closer in the 54. I think he's going to be a part of this battle before too long. Out front, Terzak continues to hold the race lead, about 20 laps before the halfway break. Adam Fulford in the 71 rounds out your top 5. He's got Zach Murphy just ahead of him. Look at the line your race leader is running, though. Kyle Terzak trying to make that car as low as possible on both ends of the racetrack. You don't want to allow any room for that 4 to look underneath on the exit of the corner. But Skidmore right now definitely looks to have the faster race car. I just think he's being patient, trying to get back around Kyle Terzak. You saw the big run down the back that time. Looks like Terzak's car is able to fire off a little bit better, but Skidmore over the long run, that car picks up the pace and is able to roll a lot better. Just has so much drive up off of the corner. Under a car length that is the distance separating them. Brandon Elvis about 2 car lengths back in the 54. Now Kenneth Skidmore going to try to cross over. He went on the outside that time. Same thing in 3 and 4. Tries to enter in on the outside and cross underneath, but nothing going for it. Your top 3, about a second in front of Adam Fulford, who has gotten around Zach Murphy for the 4th spot. Go on board with the number 4 machine. You can hear how conservative and see how conservative he is being on corner entry. He does not want to make any contact that could hurt his chances later in the race. But I think he definitely does want to get the lead back before the halfway break. Now a big run to the inside. The Forrest Skidmore looks to the inside, but Terzak able to keep the door shut. Big run that time. The 54 loose in the center of the corner, it looked like. He stopped on the exit, and the 4 shot right up to his back bumper. 10 laps until the halfway break, and the battle for the lead is getting intense as Kyle Terzak trying to hang on to get that fresh rubber on the right sides. Skidmore putting all kinds of pressure on. He would love to have the race lead, as now Terzak a little sideways through 1 and 2. That's going to allow the Forrest Skidmore to cut to the inside, but Terzak shuts the door through turns 3 and 4. Terzak making that car as wide as he can. Wants to keep it low on the exit so the 4 cannot drive underneath. You can see how that is hurting the 4's run. Skidmore not able to drive to the inside just yet. Elvis closes up once again. The 15 of Terzak definitely looks loose at this current moment. Especially down into 1. Watch the 15 up the racetrack, not able to run that lower line like he was just a little while ago. Five laps to go until the halfway break. Terzak able to open up some of that gap now, and here comes Brandon Elvis to the inside for the 2nd spot. Skidmore in the 4 machine looked like he got loose up on the top, made a mistake there, and now Elvis in the 54 up the racetrack. Tim Dayton in the 84. I think Elvis caught him in a bad spot, and now Skidmore going to go back to the inside. And I think Brandon Elvis did not want to line up to the outside on that restart either. You see the effort he put up there. All a matter of strategy later in this race. 2 laps until the halfway break. And it looks like that will be our halfway break. So Kyle Terzak, your leader. Everybody going to come to pit road. We'll have a chance for these drivers to get tires, fuel, take a break. And we will come back with the second half of this Langley 100, or Langley 200, I should say. I guess the second half will be the Langley 100, but a good race so far. And I'm going to watch our top 4 here, see if they get left side tires. Looks like Terzak will. Everybody getting left side tires. I guess if you know that you do have to go 100 laps, you may as well get 4 tires, especially having the chance to cool them off. If everybody's going to have to go 100 laps, gotta go with 4 tires here. Now, if you could gain track position from getting 2 tires, that was a different story, but with the control caution, it kind of forces the hand for everybody to commit to 4 tires and split this race in half. Kyle Terzak currently your race leader. Second was Kenneth Skidmore. Third, Brandon Elvis. One driver we have not talked about as much, your fast qualifier, Carter Hollingsworth, at the halfway break was scored in the 9th spot. It looks like the field will pull away. We'll get them all lined back up on the back straightaway before we send them back green. We'll take a quick step away here on the WD Broadcasting Network, give these drivers a moment to catch their breath, give myself a chance to catch my breath, and give you guys a chance to grab a drink, grab a snack, whatever it's going to take to get you through these final 100 laps here at the Langley Speedway. We'll be back in just one moment on the WD Broadcasting Network.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media, and more. Cody Geyer brings more than a decade of experience working with the top brands in short track racing. From individual photos to full race days, social media to PR, KG Media can make your race team, race track, or touring series stand out. For more information, go to marknews.org or visit KG Media on Facebook.
The Horsepower Happenings podcast is Michigan's short track racing authority. For nearly a decade, Horsepower Happenings has given race fans a chance to hear directly from their favorite drivers, local track owners, and promoters. Horsepower Happenings is the only podcast keeping fans engaged with Michigan area racing for 52 weeks a year. Don't miss the Horsepower Happenings podcast live on Facebook every Monday night at 6:30 and available everywhere you enjoy podcasts. Visit horsepowerhappenings.com and follow on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube.
Alrighty, folks, field is doubled back up here. There is no pace car out there because we did not actually throw the caution flag, so we're going to bring them back green this time. Terzak going to roll off alongside Kenneth Skidmore. And back through the zone they go. We're back underway. Green flag is back out. And we are racing in the second half of this Langley 200 season finale. Brandon Elvis jumps up to the second spot. Adam Fulford to the inside of Kenneth Skidmore trying to take the third spot. Fulford up into the third position. We're going to have to drop back down in front of Zach Murphy. They check up a little bit back behind. Carter Hollingsworth trying to work his way back forward to the inside of Landon Farmer. Battle on for the 7th position. Farmer on the outside. And it looks like Carter Hollingsworth able to take that spot. To move Carter Hollingsworth up to the 7th position, back up front. We'll see how the 15's car handles over the long run. Remember, it's looked good in the short run, but throughout the longer runs in this one, the cars behind have started to close the gap. So we'll see if Terzak is able to hold them off. Brandon Elvis currently runs second. Adam Fulford and Kenneth Skidmore just behind. Zach Murphy rounds out your top 5 in the 29. He's got William Sapala back behind him, and Carter Hollingsworth continuing to move forward. Hollingsworth peeks to the inside of Sapala for the 6th spot. Little nudge there from Hollingsworth, and Hollingsworth loose up off of the corner. More contact there, the 48 machine down the racetrack. Sapala gets a run up off the corner that allows the 48 to get back down to the bottom, but Hollingsworth hungry for that 6th position. Has to settle back down, cool the tires back off. As we look back up front, 0.8 of a second separate Kyle Terzak and Brandon Elvis. Adam Fulford currently runs in the 3rd position, just in front of Kenneth Skidmore. Battle for the 2nd spot. Adam Fulford right there on the back bumper of Brandon Elvis just has not been able to take a peek inside just yet. Last time by, Fulford was one of the faster cars on the racetrack. But your top 5 all so close on lap time that it goes back and forth pretty much by the lap. Looking at the last lap time, it looks like Kenneth Skidmore, fastest car in the top 5, just behind the 71 of Fulford. Remember, his car came to life on that long run to the end of the first half. Just could not get around Kyle Terzak. We'll see if he's able to find some speed here. Back up front, Brandon Elvis a 10th faster than Terzak that last time. I'm keeping an eye on that gap because Terzak will have a lap that isn't the best, and then he'll put down a lap that's a 15.7. So kind of back and forth as far as lap times go there. Richard Parks down pit road in the 113. I believe he calls it a night. Tough break for the driver that was running in the 11th spot. The gap back out front, up to 1 second again. Like I said, these drivers going back and forth on lap time. Ford Machine definitely looks like one of the faster cars on the racetrack, though. He's putting pressure on Adam Fulford. Trying to drive to his inside, now has an opportunity to dive to the inside down into turn number 3. Can you get that right front underneath? Not quite. 75 laps remain here at Langley. Kyle Terzak trying to cap off this season with a 4th victory and become the champion. We're watching the battle for the 3rd spot. Skidmore continues to put pressure right there on the back bumper of Adam Fulford. They just cannot drive to the inside just yet. He's got a lot of good drive up off of the corner, I think. But just can't quite cut underneath Adam Fulford. Fulford continues to hold the 3rd spot. Skidmore at some point, I think, may start to push the issue a little bit as we've got 70 laps to go now. Still caution-free in the second half. Fulford in the 71, I think, knows that running in this 3rd spot right here puts him in the money spot if we are able to see a caution flag. If we get a restart, he'll be lined up inside of the 2nd row. Oftentimes gives you a good run through turns 1 and 2, and sometimes even a shot at the leader down into turn number 3. And now to the inside goes the number 4 of Kenneth Skidmore. Fulford finally not able to keep that bottom closed off through turns 3 and 4. And he gives way, move Skidmore up to the 3rd spot. 65 to go. Back behind your fast qualifier, Carter Hollingsworth, still just not able to work forward in the 28. He had the 1-lap speed in qualifying, but here in the race thus far, not able to get that car up into the top 5. Kyle Terzak continues to show the way. 1.5 seconds now, the gap. Lap time's pretty even throughout your top 5. Everybody on similar pace. But the laps are going to run out. This time by 140 up on the board. We've got 60 laps remaining. They're only running 16-second laps at this moment. Not very much time. If you're Brandon Elvis or Kenneth Skidmore, you want to work back forward. The Ford Machine of Skidmore, he's been closing the gap to Brandon Elvis in the 54. I think he may be able to put up a challenge for 2nd before this is all said and done. Right now, with the lap times that your race leader is running, it does not look like anybody going to have anything for that 15. We'll see what happens, though. Could wound the tires on that race car, and it could start to not drive to his liking. Carter Hollingsworth to the inside of Landon Farmer. Once again, this is for the 7th spot. Farmer got by, but now Hollingsworth trying to get back by. You can see how loose the 28 is, not able to drive up off of the corner. Looks like he is fighting demons on the inside lane. .55 to go this time at the line. We continue to watch the battle for the 7th spot. Hollingsworth on the inside pulls ahead that time. Farmer went way up the racetrack. Alex Hallinar going to creep by as well. But I don't think either of those drivers' cars performing the way that they need them to be at this moment. Now back up front for the 2nd spot. Kenneth Skidmore all over the back bumper of Brandon Elvis. Now looks to the inside down into turns 1 and 2. The 4 takes the 2nd spot. Elvis saw the run coming to the bottom. Did not want to put up too much of a fight. Now Brandon Elvis up into the 3rd position. Kenneth Skidmore up into the 2nd spot. We're about to see 50 laps to go. Time running out at Langley. Next time by, it will be 50 laps to go for Kyle Terzak. He was approaching the back half of this field, getting into some mild lap traffic. Terzak puts Anthony Ancella 1 lap down. Carter Hollingsworth out of this one. He heads down pit road. Zach in the 15. Little nudge to the back bumper of Tim Dayton right there, down into 1. I don't think Dayton quite expected the 15 of Terzak to be right there when he turned down into the corner. Gap back to Kenneth Skidmore. 2 seconds on the dot. We'll have to keep an eye on how it progresses throughout these final 45 laps. That last lap, Skidmore about 2/100ths of a second faster than Kyle Terzak. You can see this lap around, Terzak opened that gap back up. Just so tough if you are in the 4's position, because you have to make every single move perfect in order to make it to the finish and try to track down that 15. Battle for the 6th spot. Or sorry, battle for the 6th spot. There we go. Alex Hallinar in the 57. To the inside of Zach Murphy. Landon Farmer's right there as well. He wants a piece of the action. Murphy able to shut the door for now, but Landon Farmer opens it back up. 26 to the inside. Murphy up the racetrack a little bit through turns 1 and 2, and now Landon Farmer able to take that spot. Back out front, the lead 2.3 seconds. Make it 2.4 as Kyle Terzak comes across the line that time. 40 laps to go for what will be your champion if he's able to hold off this field for the rest of the race. With 2nd place Brandon Atkinson not in the field tonight. it all but pretty much solidifies Kyle Terzak will be our champion here in the Trackmaster Sim Series in Season 6. And now trying to put the cherry on top and pick up the victory in the season finale. Right now leads by 2.5 seconds over Kenneth Skidmore in the number 4 and Brandon Elvis in the number 54 running third. .35 laps to go this time. Closest battle on the racetrack right now. Chris Shepard starting to get a little bit closer to the back bumper of Zach Murphy, which is for the 8th spot on the racetrack. Everybody starting to find their rhythm, just trying to make the tires last to the finish. Kyle Terzak closing up on the back bumper of Brad Carpenter. Carpenter running in the 10th spot. He's the final car on the lead lap. And Kyle Terzak has nearly lapped up to the 10th position. As Chris Shepard does get around Zach Murphy for the 8th spot. Brandon Elvis running in the 3rd position. He's got Adam Fulford back behind him in the 71. Kyle Terzak's lead out front, 2.9 seconds now the gap. 15 really starting to open it up here as we come back to 30 laps to go. We'll see if the 54 of Brandon Elvis can try to track down the number 4 of Skidmore, who currently runs in the 2nd spot. .25 laps to go, and caution flag is out. Tim Dayton in the 84, I believe. He was slow in turns 3 and 4. And we will re-rack him and restack him one more time. This is what happened. Looked like the 84. Not sure exactly what happened there. This is down into 3 and 4 the next lap. Maybe I clicked the wrong one. Let's try that again. There we go. This is a better replay. Looked like contact from the 48 of William Sapala as he was trying to hold off Alex Hallinar, who has worked his way back up into the top 5. But Dayton in the 84 goes for a slide down into turn number 3. And that will put us under yellow inside of 25 laps to go. Kyle Terzak, your race leader. 2nd spot, Kenneth Skidmore. 3rd spot is Brandon Elvis. Keep an eye on that 54. What was he saving? They're still going to have plenty of laps left when we bring them back to the green. So it will be a battle of who can keep their car fastest till the end. It'll be about a 20-lap run. And Kyle Terzak going to line up on the inside of the front row, trying to pick up his 4th victory of the season. 20 laps stand in his way. And I'm sure someone would like to knock him off of the pedestal here for the final time this season. Through turns 3 and 4, back into the restart zone, and they're back underway. 21 laps to go. Kyle Terzak gets a good launch in the number 15. Kenneth Skidmore right back to the 2nd spot. Brandon Elvis into 3rd. Adam Fulford in the 71. Shuts the door at Alex Hallinar for the 4th spot. Fulford in the 71 right there on the back bumper of Brandon Elvis. $19 laps to go. And your race leader, Kyle Terzak, able to get a good launch, and he starts to open up that gap to the number 4. We'll see if Skidmore can find something left in that car. Alex Hallinar to the inside of Adam Fulford. That's the battle for the 4th spot. Hallinar loose on the inside. I think there was a little contact there that time. 57 loses some ground. 16 laps remain. This time by 15 laps to go for Kyle Terzak. The gap out front already 0.7 of a second to Kenneth Skidmore. Terzak last time by was the fastest car on the racetrack. And now for the 4th spot, Alex Hallinar to the inside of Adam Fulford. 57 underneath the 71. It looks like Hallinar able to pull ahead. He'll take that spot out of turns 3 and 4. Now Fulford going to try to shut the door on Landon Farmer, but Farmer not going to let it happen. And down the back straightaway, Fulford able to get the big run on the top. He does get in front of the 26 of Landon Farmer for now, but move Adam Fulford back to the 5th spot. Out front, the race lead about a second for Kyle Terzak in the number 15, this time by 10 laps to go. Final 10 laps of Season 6. Kyle Terzak trying to seal the deal. Nine to go. Back behind him, William Sapala underneath the 26 of Landon Farmer. Now Brandon Elvis and Alex Hallinar side by side for the final spot on the podium. It looks like Elvis in the 54 was able to cross back over. Now Hallinar in the 57 to the inside. Elvis in the 54 on the outside. Can he make that crossover move work again? It looks like no. The 57 of Alex Hallinar able to hold off that inside lane. Six laps to go for Kyle Terzak. And look at the run from Alex Hallinar in the 57. He's got a lot of speed left in that race car. right there on the back bumper of the number 4. He may drive up to the second spot. So we've got 5 laps to go. 57 of Halinar all the way down to the apron, a little bit sideways underneath the 4. But 4 laps remain. Halinar in the 57 trying to use every inch of racetrack available down in turns 1 and 2. Not able to make the move just yet. 3 laps to go this time. Kyle Terzak leads by 3.4 seconds, but who will get the second spot? As it looks like it will be the 57 of Halinar. How about the run for Alex Halinar? 2 laps to go this time for Kyle Terzak. Popsicle sticks up in the air. Problems for the number 4 of Kenneth Skidmore. He gets that car back rolling and down to pit road, but through turns 3 and 4, white flag is out. Final time around for Kyle Terzak. Has a 3.5 second advantage over Alex Halinar, and through the final set of corners, your champion and winner in the final race of the season, it is Kyle Terzak. Second spot goes to Alex Halinar. Third goes to Brandon Elvis, and a couple cars spin across the line for those final spots in the top 5. But Kyle Terzak picks up the victory, his 4th of the season, and he wins the season finale for the Trackmaster Sim Series Season 6 at the Langley Speedway. And Terzak gonna burn it down through turns 1 and 2. And let's do things in reverse here tonight. Let's see if we can't get a word from our third place finisher. Third place finisher here tonight, Brandon Elvis, to get a copy.
Hey, Winston.
Well, P3 here this evening. Kind of a long race. Looked like the cars definitely were a handful at the end of the runs, but the 54 still looks strong here this evening. Just not quite enough to keep up with Terzak there at the end.
Yeah, the end of the first 100 there, I felt pretty good. I felt like I was probably the fastest car on the track at that point. Just kind of playing games with Skidmore there to see who's going to restart third. But no, I felt like we were pretty good, and I made it. I touched it. So I kind of threw the balance off a little bit there for the second half. Got too tight in the center, and that's all she wrote. I just couldn't touch the throttle when I needed to.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to go the wrong way, but you know for next time, and you were still able to salvage a P3 here this evening. Who do you have to thank for a podium in the final race of the season and a good run in the season?
Yeah, just my wife for letting me do this. You know, we do it quite a bit, so I'm very grateful for her. My dad for watching. He's got me out of a jam quite a few times this season with the setup stuff. So he's a bump stop genius. So it's always good to have him to lean on. Just Coast Performance, my guys over there, guys at ECR, Coleman Design. Yeah, just you for putting this broadcast on, and thanks to Christian and Lade and those guys, and for putting this league on. It's always a lot of fun, and I think it's probably one of the better leagues going, and the last 2 races I think have really been pretty good.
Yeah, we had a good final 2 races to wrap up the season, but congratulations to you, Brandon, on your P3 finish here tonight, and hopefully we can see you back if we have a Season 7 here in the future.
Oh yeah, there'll be a Season 7. Just maybe we'll take a little break, take the summer off, and come back in the fall.
There we go. Good idea. All right, folks, that was your third place finisher here tonight, Brandon Elvis. Let's talk to our second place finisher, Alex Halinar. Man, he drove that car back up through the field. Alex, I got you up in the broadcast booth here tonight. You started on pole here tonight after the invert. Looked like that 57 car was kind of all over the grid here tonight, just with the way that this race unfolded. When we were at the halfway break, you were, I think, just outside of the top 5 and drove that car back up to the second position in those final 15, 20 laps. Tell me about the end of your race.
Well, I'll start with the whole race. Started on pole, was driving pretty hard, harder than I needed to, and I just burnt my stuff up at the end. Put myself in a bad spot for the second half of the race. I think I started like 10th or 11th. Not a good spot. It took me a while to get my way up there. I made sure to, kind of like the other races this season, I made sure to save tire, and I definitely had better tire at the end. I just didn't have the track position. It took me a while to get up there. I'm happy to bring this thing up to second. I've had a fast car all year, and track position wasn't always there. Tonight I was able to kind of make some, at least get second. Turzak's pretty fast, so finishing second isn't like the worst result.
Yeah, for sure. Second against the competition that you were able to drive up around in the top 5. They were pretty fast all night long, and you drove by them pretty easily, not easily, but pretty confidently there in those final 10 or 15 laps. Tell me about your strategy there. I know you said you burnt it up too much in the second or in the first half. Do you think you maybe conserved a little bit too much on the second half? Was it kind of like the first half this, second half this, and it was opposite?
I mean, I was sort of just driving my race to a certain point. For most of that second half until that caution, I was kind of in the back of a line of cars, and you kind of run a certain pace. If you push hard, you're not going to get around them. So you kind of run, an okay pace. And, they were burning the tires off. I was better, and slowly I was able to pick them off. I was very fortunate on that last caution. I was 5th. Started on the inside because I hate starting the outside here. I can't make it work, and I keep falling back. So yeah, just keep going. I had tire at the end. I kind of wish there were more laps at the end, or maybe another caution, maybe to get the Turzak. But I think I maybe saved just about enough. I had tire at the end.
Well, definitely a good run to be able to drive up to the second spot there. At the end of this one, you finished the top 5 the last 3 races of the season, capping it off with a second place finish. Who do you have to thank for the good, consistent runs in the end of this one?
I somehow made a setup. I don't know how. I usually am awful at making setups. I want to thank the league for creating a format where I don't have to make a new setup each week. That way I'm able to bring the same rocket ship out each week with just minor tweaks. I want to thank Timmy Dayan. I see him at the racetrack in real life, and he was like, yo, man, you should hop back in MRL. They got this short track series. It's only at Langley. I'm pretty good at Langley. I joined midway through the season. I had a ton of fun. I definitely want to thank all the ownership and everyone that makes this league happen. I think Lide is up there. Christian Peterson. Of course, you got Kyle Adams, who's been in this forever. I'm definitely missing people, but there's a lot of people that make this happen, and I'm really happy to come here on a Thursday night and show everyone what I got.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. It's been 6 fun seasons so far. I'm sure, like me and Brandon Elvis talked about, we're going to take a break, but we'll be back in the future, and we'll be at a new short track for another season. So congratulations to you on P2 here to wrap up the season, and hopefully we can see you back when we return in the Sim Series.
Thank you. Have a great time.
You as well. Alrighty, folks, and now to talk to the man of the hour, our winner here tonight and champion with the Trackmasters Sim Series. Try and get him into the right channel. There he is up in the broadcast booth a couple attempts later. Kyle Turzak, winner here at the Langley Speedway for the 4th time this season. Looked like a pretty calm first half of the race. You were able to work your way up into the top 5, but didn't put too much pressure on for the race lead. And then in those final 25 or so, maybe 40 lap, 25, 30, 40, somewhere in that range, those laps you were able to take the lead and held off Skidmore. And I think that lead at the halfway break was really crucial, and you were able to walk away.
Yeah, kind of had a different package tonight. Kind of threw a little near setup in and put the gear in it, and I did some test laps. It was okay during practice, so I said screw it. I was going to run it. So testing for SAR coming up for the Big Hampton Heat race. So there's a big test race for it really because it's the same amount of laps and whatnot. We do get a set of tires, but that first half was a key giveaway how the race was going to end up. And I like you said, I got up to fifth, and I wanted to stay on the fifth or third somewhere in there so I could start on the inside, right? So we don't have a choose cone in this series. So I got up to fifth right there, and kind of noticed the third and fourth cars were right there, and I could probably get them in like about 10 laps or so. So I did that, and as soon as I got in the third, I mean, I was basically half throttle down the back and front straightaway. So, staying right there. Then we had a caution with about 30 laps to go in that first half there, and I said screw it. So I went right there and got past Kenneth, and I was as soon as he got behind me with that air of my spoiler, I mean, I was about self spinning. So I didn't really feel that good at all in that first half, and lucky to have the lead at the second or come into the checker for the first half. So put four tires on that thing. Two tires I felt like we were gonna blow our left rear, and looking at my tires after the race, I was correct. I was 29, even with taking four, I was 29% left on the left rear. So took four tires right there and loosened up a little bit, and after that the car kind of came to life. We pulled away there for the first half, and I was managing my tires during that point. And after that second caution and the second half, the thing was on rails. So overall, pretty good race. Good thing to get the title. Haven't ran this series a full season besides Lanier and getting in trouble there, but glad I can come out here and have some fun with these guys, and this is it. So they can have the rest of their fun. I just want to come out here. I love Langley, so glad I could get the title, and I'm one and done.
All right. Well, congratulations to you, Kyle, on your victory here this evening. I'm glad that you were able to pick up the championship with your one and done season, and you did it in dominating fashion. Picked up 4 victories. I think you had to work for it here tonight to get back up through to get up through the field initially, but like you said, watching the 4 car right on your back bumper before the halfway break, I thought he was going to get you, and it looked like a pretty interesting race from that point on. But once the stage reset and we were back green, you definitely had something for the field. 29% on the left rear is pretty low, though. Did that bring a spotter message on, or were you in the clear there?
Honestly, no. I honestly surprised that I didn't, because towards the end there, obviously we burned out all of our tires. So I was actually, my rears were actually even on there, so that's surprising. So I was 28 on the rears. So that, I guess that I don't know what that really means, but it kind of surprised me tonight. But I can't thank Christian Peterson for putting this on, you for the broadcast as always, Kuhn for the amazing setups. Hot Shot Photography, Best iRacing Photos, my parents, everybody's watching back at home, Turzak Racing on Facebook, and Corey Bodie Wraps, and Matthew Designs for the real life wraps.
All right. Well, one more time, congratulations to you, Kyle, on your win here tonight in your championship with the Trackmaster Sim Series, and we wish you luck in your future iRacing endeavors.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, folks, that was Kyle Turzak, your winner here tonight and champion in Season 6 of the Trackmaster Sim Series, one final time this season. Let's look at our finishing results. Your winner, Kyle Turzak. Alex Hallinar, good run, finishes in the 2nd spot. Brandon Elvis 3rd. Landon Farmer 4th. Adam Fulford rounds out your top 5. William Sapala comes home 6th. Chris Shepard 7th. Brad Carpenter 8th. Zach Murphy 9th. Tim Dayton 10th. Anthony Yankello comes home 11th. Kenneth Skidmore 12th. Carter Hollingsworth 13th. Bob Belshaw 14th. And Richard Parks rounds out your starting field in the 15th spot. Well, folks, that will do it for us here in the Trackmaster Sim Series in Season 6. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed. We, like Brandon Elvis said, probably going to take a break here for a little bit. Take the rest of the summer off. I'd like to thank Christian Peterson John Lyday, everybody involved with the Trackmaster Sim Series, and the Misfits iRacing League for allowing me to be up in the booth and for putting this series on. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm hoping we can get a good pick of short tracks next time and have a good fun race or a good fun season. But thank you guys one more time for watching. If you guys haven't already, hit that red subscribe button for more iRacing content. We'll see you guys next time on the WD Broadcasting Network. I'm your host, Winston Deal, signing it off. Peace out.